Welcome to Working and Wandering.
My name's Chris. I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Martha, and we are Venturesome couple.
That is right. Today, we got a lot of fun to talk about spending your money.
Absolutely. That's always a great topic, don't you think?
As long as it isn't my money, I'm good. So let's be real. What are we really talking about?
We're going to talk about RVs. Shocker, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that RV travel is on the rise with more people hitting the road than ever before?
I'm not shocked at all. We've seen COVID. Holy moly, everybody and their grandmammy went out on an RV, including us. So let's talk about how you spend money buying the RV.
Well, it's brand new and shiny, and it's like, let's buy it.
But you got to make sure you don't screw up and make a mistake, because RVs, you'll get more into this, depreciate. And so you want to buy the right one for you and your family or your travel situation in advance. And we're going to go full in depth about how to pick the right RV so you don't waste money.
Absolutely. I think that's a great topic. And to give you some insights, we're on RV number 4.
So clearly we do not listen.
Well,
to our own damn advice.
But here's the thing. I think we do listen, and it's that we had different seasons in our lives.
100% yes. And we've also been RVing well over 15 years, and we've rented dozens of RVs. So although we are on RV number 4,
yes,
it's not that we haven't tried out everything you can imagine, except for one. We'll tell you about that.
All right, let's get started.
All right. So how in the world do we want to start selecting it? Truly, I think it comes down to your comfort. The first thing you have to figure out is, do you want something you can drive, or do you want something you can tow? Like, that's foundational. You got to know, do I want a steering wheel, or do I want to have a tow vehicle?
And one of our best advice is rent them or have a friend that has those type of RVs. We've stayed with friends in different types of RVs. We stayed with a friend in a bunkhouse before.
Yep.
We've rented different A-frame, pop-up, like Class C. My cousin, she has a Class C.
Yep.
So we got to go try different ones out.
Yeah, my mom was the old school 1990s Winnebago Class C, no slides. So yeah, we've been around RVs most of our life.
Yeah.
But we have never personally owned a motorized one. And for us, we have decided that at our time in life and our season, that wasn't the best way to go, because we have our beloved dog who travels with us absolutely everywhere. And we need to be able to detach and take her with us and not have to move the motor home or the RV.
Yeah. And with the type of traveling we wanted to do, we needed to be able to detach. And a lot of times Chris and I were doing projects and stuff, and we need to go to the store. So we don't want to have to pack everything up, pull a slide or two in, and go just to Walmart or Home Depot or
Lowe's for the 14th time for the same project. Guilty.
Yep, that's happened.
So once you decide whether or not you want to drive it or you want to tow it, now keep in mind, if you do decide that you want to do a drivable, so that would be a Class A, which is considered your full size, we'll call it motorhome, traditional. You have Class B, which is a van. That's usually a Sprinter van in modern times. And then you have Class C, which is a bigger version of the van that usually is on a van body, but has a large living space to the rear.
Yes.
What about travel trailers, fifth wheels?
I mean, there's different types of travel trailers, different sizes. I mean, you can go from like the teardrop all the way to, something over 40 feet on a travel trailer, which that's kind of crazy.
That's big for a tow behind, for a bumper pull. You also have fifth wheels. Mm-hmm. Those hook up in the bed of your truck. And we've had a 45-foot fifth wheel. We've had a 38-foot fifth wheel. We've had a 33-foot travel trailer, and now a
3311.
3311, so 34.
Yeah.
We have been fans of the fifth wheel. If you have to choose one or the other, then that's kind of personal, because people get so freaked out about the towing aspects. Before you really freak out about like, oh my God, it's a big trailer, or how do I tow that? Just know you will get comfortable in the beginning. It is awkward. So don't let your fear make your decision for you, because you will ultimately regret it in the long run.
Yeah, and both Chris and I, we've towed for years. I mean, he definitely has way more experience than me. When he was in the Air Force, he towed different types of machines and way longer than what we've ever had.
Yeah, exactly. But I used to load airplanes. So now you got, like I said, figure out, tow it, drive it. You also got to figure out, do you want bumper pull? Do you want fifth wheel?
Yeah.
But how you plan on using that is way more important then what type of RV? If you're going to be full-time,
Yes.
that's a different story than if you're just going to be able to go overlanding on the weekends.
Yes, I agree. And different RV manufacturers will warrant for like full-time RV living or all season. You want to look for those if you're going to go full-time or travel a lot like Chris and I do.
Yeah, they have 4-season rated, which just means that it's insulated better. It usually has heated tanks. So those are the things you got to think about is like, okay, what's the environment I live in? Do I live in Alaska where it's going to get flinging cold and the likelihood of being down around freezing in the beginning of your camping season and the end of your camping season is likely, so you're going to want heated tanks. Those are considerations. If you are full-timing, make sure that whatever you buy has Azdel walls, which is Azdel. We're not sponsored by them. We're just saying those are the best walls when it comes to not delaminating. They have what is called like a tin and stick, which is really just a wood frame with an aluminum siding. And then they have some that are fiberglass that are not Azdel. So it gets complicated and it can be overwhelming. Just know Asdel's your best bet. It's not going to delaminate no matter what you get.
Yeah, and we have Asdel walls on our travel trailer, and we had it on our fifth wheel and toy hauler, but not our first travel trailer because that was a different brand.
Right. And talking about the seasons of your life, if you're going to be full-timing, having a 40-plus foot RV or a 40-foot or bigger Class A, which is like the motorhomes, or fifth wheel might make really good sense to you because you're going to get the most living space. You're going to get the most cargo capacity. You have to be super careful on cargo capacity because you look at these big old Rockstar buses and you're like, I'm gold. It's on a big old heavy duty semi chassis. And they'll be like, it's got 2,000 pounds of cargo.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. We had a friend that said they're selling their house and they're going full-time RV living. They bought a fifth wheel and eventually bought a toy hauler. But the mistake they made and what we told them before they bought their fifth wheel is cargo capacity. Yes. What they were getting didn't have very much.
Yeah, we've seen several manufacturers that put out fifth wheel RVs that have 1,700 to 2,000 pounds of cargo capacity on a 40-foot long trailer. To put that in perspective, you're probably going to carry close to 2,500 to 3,000 pounds of total weight in your trailer. When you start looking at water and clothes, you'll be shocked at how much clothes weigh.
And especially if you're going to get a washer and dryer. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So cargo capacity first and foremost. And you notice a trend here. We're not talking about brands. We're not going to tell you what you should get because your comfort doing a fifth wheel versus your comfort doing a motorhome, both are going to accomplish the same thing. They're going to get you out. You're going to be able to explore. But the things that matter are the little things that we're going to continue to tell you about, cargo capacity being a key one. The other thing you have to take into consideration is maintenance.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely want to keep on a maintenance schedule. Each RV manufacturer should have in their archive somewhere on, like for us, it's our Facebook group. They have a
schedule. It tells you exactly what to do. But you also have to consider if you're going to do a drivable. So we're going to say we'll call it a Class A, a motorhome. And it happens to be on a Freightliner chassis, which a lot of them are on the semi chassis. If you need maintenance, you have to go to somewhere that services semis. You may have to go to Freightliner. If you're going to be changing tires, they could be $2,000 per tire. And you could have anywhere between 4 to 6 of them. I've seen some that have more than that if they have tag axles. It gets really crazy expensive on that aspect. Now, if you're going into RV life, first and foremost, I would avoid doing it if you're on a very restricted budget. It's just flinging expensive.
It gets very expensive. I mean, the fuel costs plus RV parks. We're not saying don't do it.
100% do it.
Do your homework and figure out, like when we were going to sell our Paradigm, or actually in the process of selling our Paradigm, we interviewed several folks, and one couple, notepad and paper, and they're like, tell us about RV parks. I'm like, well, first of all, we're not full-time RVers, so we can't give you a cost of what it would cost monthly because we go everywhere from boondocking to RV resorts.
And that's a valid point. It goes back to that whole, how do you plan on using it? If you're going to be resort hopping, going pedestal to pedestal, what you need may look significantly different than if you want to go live in the national forest for 2 weeks at a time or 8 weeks at a time, whatever you want to do, because the insulation is different. Do you need solar systems? Do you need something that's an overlander with an independent suspension? So know your planned type so you can pick it, because there's brands out there that have amazing travel trailers that are bumper pulls that are made for overlanding, that have independent suspension, beefy tires, just awesome. You don't need that if you're going Margaritaville to Margaritaville, right?
Yeah, or, RV resort to RV resort.
Yeah, 100%. So. Now, on the other hand, if you're planning on overlanding and you buy a 45-foot fifth wheel, you're going to be in some trouble, because you may not get those things in and out everywhere, because they're anywhere between, on low end for the big ones, 18 to 21 or 22,000. Some are bigger than that. Like the Luxes can be 24,000 pounds. You don't want to be taking those out in the national forest.
No, you don't.
Not more than once.
And then, just to go off subject for a second, like boondocking and all that, you got to figure out how you're going to get your water in, how you're going to get your waste out. I mean, there's those other factors too.
Yeah. And that goes back to the cargo capacity of the RV. So if you're buying a little Winnebago Class C and it has 800 pounds of cargo capacity, just know you're not going to be able to go out long if you stay within range of what that RV will offer. And keep in mind that the prices are wildly different. So like a drivable can be more economical when you take into consideration, we'll say, a travel trailer or a fifth wheel and the tow vehicle. Because our truck literally is the same price as our RV. Like, your truck can double your costs in some cases.
And we went with a gas truck this time. If you talk about diesel, I mean, we saved about $25,000 by going gas versus diesel for our 1 ton.
Absolutely. That is true. The most important thing, regardless of brand, period, is floor plan.
Yes. And we always recommend walk the floor plan yourself. I mean, Chris and I, we bought, our first travel trailer sight unseen, and it was in a different state. We were in Alaska at the time, and it was in Minnesota.
Don't do that.
But we lucked out, and luckily our floor plan was great. We sold that travel trailer because we decided we're going to go full-time RV living, sell our house in Alaska, and go live the dream. That lasted less than a year.
Because I hated it. Me. That's me.
And I had different reasons than Chris, where I was okay with us, going and buying a house. And
yes.
But anyway.
Yeah.
And then our toy hauler. Yeah.
The other thing, so if you were going to put this in order, I would say priority 1 is floor plan. No matter what brand, no matter what. Priority 2 is, once you find the right floor plan, you'll realize that all manufacturers pretty much have very similar floor plans. There's nothing like super creative unless you're going completely custom.
Yes.
Like Lux. And I keep saying Lux because that's like the epitome of, I want a theater system in my RV. Okay, whatever you want. They'll build it. You spend the money. But figure the floor plan out. Make sure it has the warranty you need if it's full-time or part-time. Make sure it has the walls that aren't going to delaminate on you. And then the next thing you need to look at from there is size. And I promise you, go bigger than you think.
Yeah, I agree. Because when we decided to go full-time RV living a few years ago, we went from a 33-foot travel trailer with a 25-foot, 26-foot live-in space to a 45-foot toy hauler.
Which was perfect for full-time. Overkill when we started doing, whenever we wanted any timing.
Yeah. And when we traded that, went to the fifth wheel, we had bought our home base. So it made sense to downsize. Yeah.
Where the problem comes in isn't that you can't change RVs or you can't sell your RV. The RV market is awful because there's times like pre-COVID, you could buy an RV, drive off the lot, and lose 20 to 30% right off the bat. The depreciation was terrible. During COVID, if you bought one before COVID and had it at the peak of COVID, you could sell the RV and actually make money off it, which is crazy. And let's talk about a little bit like what our experiences being that we're on our 4th RV. RV1, our very first, not RV1 the company, but our very first RV, we bought in 2019, the one we owned. And then when did we sell that?
We sold that like February, March of 2021.
Okay, so 2 years later?
Yeah.
and we lost a couple $1,000s.
We did, because we had add-ons put onto our RV at the time. And then we added things like, generator. We changed out the mattress. We did a lot of DIYs.
And you don't get that money back.
You don't.
So we lost a couple $1,000s. And then so we went from that to the Monster Toy Hauler. And then the Monster Toy Hauler, we ordered at the beginning of COVID before the world went completely shut down.
No, we ordered it March of 21.
Okay, so a year in. Jeez, my dates are all screwed up on this. So we ordered.
It's a good thing you have me.
Somebody's got to be my Rolodex. So we order that and we buy it. And then we realize that for me and Martha, we have different reasons, but the same idea. Yeah. Full timing wasn't for us. So we decided, okay, we're going to trade it in. And we opted to trade it in because the market was on fire because of COVID. So if you had a really nice trailer, you had gold because the dealers couldn't get anything because supply issues were screwing things up for the manufacturers. So when we traded in our Valor,
we actually got $1,000 more than what we paid,
which is awesome.
Yeah,
that's not that you noticed on the first one we lost our tail. Let me put that in reverse a little bit. When we had our first one, we looked at doing a trade in, and to get the Valor, and they were offering us
like half the price.
Yeah, it was nuts.
We were like, no, we're going to private sell, and we may have lost a couple $1,000, but not really, because
it was worth it.
It was worth it.
It was still better than the trade-in. So when we traded in the Valor, we made $1,000. Okay, so that's cool. That basically means we got our deposit back, and we were able to put that onto the Paradigm. And then now the Paradigm that's a 38-footer. So we quit our full timing, went down to that. We had that for 2.5 years. Am I right on my dates?
Yes, 2.5 years.
So what happened?
Well, we private party sold it because right now it's like the market, it just seemed like it was going to be hard to trade in.
So this is the post-COVID market. Right now it's 2024. So it is July of 2024 to be exact. Post-COVID market, a lot of people getting out of the RV industry. Yeah. There's a lot of used RVs on the market. Interest rates are super high. And it makes it difficult. So if you're going to be selling an RV, if you're going to trade in, you're going to lose your tail. If you're going to you'll probably get half value. If you're going to be doing private party, it's better.
It's better. And especially for us, because if you've been following us for a while, you know that we had the most customized fifth wheel out there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you have no exaggeration of over $30,000 in upgrades on your trailer, trust me, you're not getting that money back. So just know, like, if you invest in independent suspension and solar systems and you deck it out top to bottom,
with the day-night shades, I mean, there's a lot of custom
you're
stuff.
Still not going to get $30,000 over market value. No. We were able to sell it and do okay.
Yeah.
I would say okay because we got some of our money back out of it, but not the $30,000 we put into it.
Not the full cost of what it would be worth. I mean, right now we're seeing the same year and model floor plan as ours sell for about $20,000, or on sale for $20,000
less than the purchase price would have been
than what we sold ours.
Yeah, and about $30,000 less than. I'm sorry, I got that off, but about $30,000 less. So these in 21, 22, they were going for about $100,000. Now you can find them on the used market, and we're looking at 21s, 22s for what, 65-ish?
Yeah, 65, and they're not all like customized like ours was.
They're stripped. These are basic, like from the factory stripped. So keep that in mind when you're picking your RV. Is what's your exit strategy on that RV? How long do you plan on keeping it? How long do you plan on using it for? And that's why we say the size matters, because if you're like, no, it's our first RV, let's go small, we'll buy that 28-footer. Well, a year in, you're going to be like, dang, I probably should have bought that 35-footer. So if you're waffling, go bigger.
And like there's a floor plan similar to the one we had. There's a 310 and then we had the 340. There's a difference in cargo carrying capacity in like 4 feet.
Yeah. And so just try to plan ahead. And the reason we tell you this is so that when you decide to sell it or trade it in, you kind of know what you're getting into. Like cars depreciate, but trailers depreciate. And I'm talking motorhomes, RVs, or fifth wheels, travel trailers, teardrops. They all depreciate substantially compared to what a car would.
Yeah. And it was beneficial for the couple who bought our Paradigm.
Oh, yeah. They're spoiled.
Because we had it all shook down and we had so many customized upgrades in there. And I remember the husband had said that this fifth wheel is everything we ever wanted and more.
Yeah. And just know, buying a 2-year-old trailer, RV, whatever, is not a bad option, because you'll hear a lot on the RV world, especially if you like Facebook groups or YouTube. Oh, I'm on my shakedown trip, which means that's code word for I got to go find out what doesn't work on this RV.
Or what's wiggled loose or what didn't get connected. I mean, there's so many things.
What about the what do you call it? The man glitter?
Yeah, sawdust.
Everywhere.
I mean, that's going to be any RV.
We're not talking brands. We're just saying in general.
Yeah,
so
in general.
The benefit of the 2-year-old RV
is that it should be shaken down or ready for you. And that also depends too. Interview the folks that you are buying a used RV from if you're doing private party, and see how much they've traveled.
And I would go as far as saying, if it's going to be a used one, unless you know the origin of that RV, something like the couple that bought ours, there's only like 900 flinging videos about it. You know everything about it, right? They knew what they were getting into.
Yeah.
Hire an inspector.
Yes.
Pay somebody to walk through that so you don't make $100,000 mistake.
Yeah, and get recommendations from friends and look online and see, like, the different type of inspectors.
Mm-hmm. Know that all dealers are not created the same. So if you decide to purchase an RV new, and again, we're not talking brands, we're just saying in general, some dealers are great. The one we had in Minnesota was, I think it was called RV World in Minnesota. It was a little mom and pop shop. It was the best buying experience that we have ever had. And we were dumb. We showed up, as Martha said, sight unseen, and went, I'm going to buy it. I was willing to do the paperwork without even walking the RV. I thought it was buying a car. Boy, was I wrong. So do some research on your dealers. Find the best price. Balance that with people that are going to take care of you if you have warranty items.
Yeah. The other advice we can give is obviously walk the floor plan. I mean, I said that earlier. Walk the floor plan and envision how you're going to live and what you're going to bring with you. And just know everything adds up in weight, and you want to stay under that weight.
Compare brands.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like a rear kitchen, whatever brand, go to the other brands and walk 2 or 3 other brands that have the rear kitchen. Because like I said, the floor plans are all the same. Yeah. There's very little, but you might find small differences between the brands that you really like. The most important thing post-sale is how the company, manufacturer, takes care of you.
Yeah, because a lot of the times the dealerships, we've heard and we've seen on Facebook that they'll have someone's rig in there for like 4 or 6 months. Someone, the other day it was like, I've owned mine for a year and I've only got to travel 2 weeks in it because it's been at the dealership waiting on parts. Sometimes there's a disconnect between the dealership and the RV manufacturer, and there's no communication sometimes.
So having a manufacturer that is customer focused is going to make your life a lot easier. No doubt about that.
Yeah, and for us, that's why we stick with Alliance. We love their customer service.
Yep, no matter what, they are awesome. Yes, we're ambassadors, so don't tell me we're not telling you that up front, but we're also on our 3rd Alliance RV, and we have purchased all 3 of them.
We were Alliance RV owners for about 1.5 years. We'd already had our Valor, and we were in our Paradigm before we became brand ambassadors.
Right.
So they asked us, and we agreed. It just was a great fit for us.
Yes. So just make sure you know what your manufacturer is going to offer. Us, like I said, we're on our 3rd Alliance. We bought them all. That's a testament to the company. Our very first brand was something completely different, and our experience was completely different. I had to sign an affidavit because I asked them to send me a broken hinge, and the affidavit said that part is no longer under warranty because I was not a certified tech, and that I was going to be doing an install. We're talking a hinge on a cabinet door with 4 flinging screws.
For clarification, he didn't ask the manufacturer for a broken hinge. We had a broken hinge, and he asked for a non-broken hinge.
Yeah, what she said. But they made me sign a flinging piece of paper saying this is no longer on warranty because I was installing a cabinet hinge. That is crappy customer service. Just know what you're getting into.
They did say you can bring it in, but they obviously they didn't own a map.
Yeah, they don't understand a map because we lived in Anchorage, Alaska, and their nearest service center was in Seattle, Washington. Y'all understand that's like 5,000 miles round trip, right? Just come on down. Let us install that for you.
Yeah, and the time of year, it's like, no.
Yeah, no, I'll just sign the piece of paper saying my hinge is no longer under warranty. So just know that your experiences can vary. But I would say, like, if we're going to recap this, priority number 1 is floor plan, period.
Yes.
And Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah, and check out the different floor plans, how you want to live. Join Facebook groups and forums and
Oh,
stuff.
that's a good call,
but
yeah.
kind of take some of that with a grain of salt, because sometimes you're going to hear the ones that things have gone wrong. I mean, you should read all of them. But
you should, absolutely.
the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
And there we
like
go.
that.
I like that. We'll go with that. So know that drama sells on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on everything.
On all social platforms.
Yeah. If everything is, oh my God, it's the end of the world, don't always take that at face value, because some people are just negative because they want the clicks and they want to get paid. Other people like us, I'm like, if you want the truth, we're going to give you the truth, but we're not going to dramatize it. And I would say, just do your research across all platforms, all brands, and go onto their I love the idea of the Facebook pages, because you're going to see the good, bad, and the ugly. You're going to see the people that are the cheerleaders for the brand, but you're also going to see the people that are just out there to slander the brand. And just know it gets kind of dog-eat-dog, and some people are planted by other manufacturers to go onto the Facebook pages and talk crap that isn't true, and they don't even own the view or own what they're talking about.
That's true. It's just like Yelp reviews. Some people get paid to go give good ones or bad ones. Yeah.
Against their competitors. Is a shame. So it is. It's a shame. If you have the ability to go to Elkhart, Indiana, or Red Bay, Alabama, if you're looking at Tiffin, or wherever the heck the manufacturer's at, but I would say a solid 95% are going to be in Elkhart, Indiana.
Yeah.
Go take a tour of the manufacturer and see what they're up to.
You can schedule the tours out. So, if you're going to be there for a few days during the week. So just here's a pro tip. Elkhart, Indiana, their hours are early. They get up early.
Crazy early.
Yeah, they get up early. And they usually shut down around 2, but
somewhere between 2 and 3 p.m. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
We know for Alliance, when they do their factory tours, they'll have one like it's different days of the week that they offer, because they'll offer one at like 10 a.m. and they'll offer one at 2 p.m. So you can see production hours or post-production hours. For something like that, if you have the time, take them both.
Oh, absolutely. And take several. Go see Grand Design. Go see
Brinkley.
Go walk them all. I mean, we're ambassadors for Alliance because we believe in the company, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do your homework.
Yeah, it's just like going to RV shows. We go and we walk all the floor plans that we want to see, just because we like looking at. We like
innovation.
That.
We like, ooh, that's pretty. That's cool. We want to see what's out there. It's exciting. Now, please, 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 I can't stress this point enough. This is not an impulse buy. Do not go to an RV show and be like, oh my God, shiny. Do your homework, do your research, know your floor plan, know the manufacturer, understand the customer service, know how you plan on using it, and please, God, don't pay what they're asking.
Yeah, we've always paid less than MSRP. But here's another thing, too. We recently did a podcast interview with Jim Belletti.
Yes.
Who has been in the RV industry for years, and he made a $20,000 mistake on a tow vehicle. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to link that video at the end. If you're on podcast, check out the list, and it's a $20,000 mistake. And we talk about tow vehicles for RVs.
You cannot trust the dealer or sales guy at the RV lot to tell you whether or not your Ram 1500 is capable of towing your 20,000 pound trailer. Is it capable? Probably.
Could it make it go from point A to B? Maybe, but can it stop, and can it stop safely?
And are you putting yourself and your family at risk, both financially and criminally, for negligence? So just know this gets really serious on the towing side. Please do your homework. If you're going to do a travel trailer, if you're going to do a fifth wheel, do your homework. If you're going to have a Class A, B, C, and you plan on towing a vehicle behind it, know your cargo limitations. Figure those things out. There's lots of opportunity out there to look up. How do I determine the cargo capacity? How do I determine which truck can tow my stuff? Ask us. We'll be happy to point you in the direction of what resource we use to determine all those things. We decided to go a 1 ton on a travel trailer. Way overkill, but guess what? We're not going to be overweight.
No, and we did a lot of innovation to our truck to have different configurations for carrying different things.
Yep.
It's like the Swiss Army knife of trucks.
Yes. The more homework you do in advance, the more likelihood you're going to have the experience you're looking for, which is stress-free, enjoyable, and within your own financial means. Sometimes that's $1 million rock star bus. Sometimes that's a $10,000 teardrop. None of them are wrong. And the best thing about the RV world that you'll understand is you can be parked in that $10,000 teardrop next to that $1 million Rockstar bus, and you're still going to have a drink with that person, hang out, say hi. Nobody gives a darn what you're driving.
For the most part.
Martha might judge you a little.
No.
Don't be rolling up on Martha in a Ford. She'll be like, psh. I'm joking. We love Fords.
No, I'll just judge the color of your truck.
Yes, she might.
I'm just kidding.
So no. I hope this has been helpful.
Are you done? Because I was going to say more.
You got more to say?
I do.
Well, then get on with it.
So the other thing you want to think about before buying an RV is if you want to buy one off the floor at the dealership or if you want to order one. Because if you order one, there's different customizations you can probably get, maybe. And it depends on the manufacturer, it depends on the floor plan. So we know like some of the travel trailers, we were looking at, like ours was an option to either get the booth dinette or get the dinette table with the 4 chairs. So
auto leveling versus not.
Yeah. So just know that like if you find the perfect one, but you're kind of on the fence about it, look and see if there's options you can do to like a build sheet and just wait for it to be built.
Don't ask the dealer about the build sheet. Yes, they may have it, but our recommendation is every manufacturer that I'm aware of has a sales team as part of their manufacturing team. Yeah. You call sales at blah, blah, blah RV and say, hey, I want to buy this RV, but I want a freestanding dining table versus a booth. I want auto leveling versus not. I want 3 ACs versus 2. And they will tell you whether or not it is completely possible and what you need to do to order it. We have heard several times that the salespeople don't know what options are available, and they'll tell the customer, you, me, that, oh, we can't do that. And then unfortunately, they'll go in a Facebook group later, and then they'll see the Venturesome couple travel trailer and be like, why didn't I get that? Well, because you didn't order it.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't dislike salespeople. Please don't take it that way at all.
But just know that their job, so we come from a sales background. So their job is to get the RVs off the lot. And especially towards the end of the year, they want to get that previous year off the lot. I mean, we got a really good deal on our Paradigm because it was the previous year. It'd been sitting there for like 8 months.
Had a birthday.
It was about to have a birthday. So we were able to get a good deal on it. But just know that their job, I mean, they're in sales first and foremost. They got to feed their family. They're just doing their job and doing what they say needs to be done. Now, I'm sure, they want to help the customers, but there's also sales quotas. I'm assuming.
I would assume so.
I would assume. I've never been in RV sales, but
sales is sales. You got to move units. That's your job.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I like the idea of customizing things. We clearly do that as part of our Venturesome Couple channel. That is what we love to do. So when we buy our RVs, most of the time we buy them stripped. I'm like, I want no generator, no solar, no gen prep. Don't give me anything. Give me a box and wheels because we're going to have fun.
Except for our Delta.
Well, the Delta, we kind of went bougie. I'm like, no, I want this. I want that.
But being our third alliance, we kind of know what
we wanted
and how we're going to travel and how we intentionally are traveling. So, and we're happy.
100% yes. It's a great trailer. I've been thrilled with it. It does exactly what we want.
All right. So leave your comments down below if you have been victim of just buying an impulse trailer.
Have you paid the stupid tax? Because we have. I have paid it. I have paid it more than once. We are trying to save you from doing that. So I hope this is helpful. And most importantly, get out there, have a good time, enjoy every moment.
Absolutely.